On Christmas night, while snow fell quietly outside, he yelled at me like he always did, but what he didn't know was that by the time he went to sleep, his life and mine had already changed forever.
Welcome to Betty's Magical Stories, where real-life moments turn into powerful stories of courage, secrets, and unexpected twists. Every story begins quietly and ends in a way you'll never forget. Settle in, because this one changes everything.
Christmas had always been my favorite holiday. Not because of the gifts or the decorations, but because it used to mean peace. It meant quiet mornings, warm lights glowing against the windows, and the comforting illusion that for at least one night a year, everything would be okay. That year, though, something felt off from the moment I woke up. The air in the house felt heavier, like it was holding its breath. Outside, snow fell softly, covering the street in a clean white blanket, the kind that makes everything look new again. Inside, nothing felt new. Everything felt worn down. I had spent the entire day trying to make things perfect. I cooked food that took hours to prepare, cleaned rooms no one would really look at, wrapped gifts with careful precision. I smiled when my face felt stiff, laughed when nothing was funny, and told myself over and over that tonight would be different. I believed it because I needed to believe it. Christmas has a way of making promises it doesn't always keep. He came home later than he said he would. I remember checking the clock over and over, pretending not to worry, pretending not to feel that familiar tightness in my chest. When the door finally opened, cold air rushed in along with him. He barely looked at me. His coat hit the floor. His keys landed on the table louder than necessary. I asked how his day was. He shrugged. I asked if he was hungry. He sighed. Every sound felt amplified, every movement sharp. Dinner was quiet at first. The kind of quiet that isn't peaceful, just tense. Silverware scraped against plates. I tried to make conversation, talking about small things, anything safe, the weather, a movie I had seen advertised, a neighbor's Christmas lights. He nodded, barely listening. Then he started drinking more than usual. I noticed it, but I didn't say anything. I had learned that saying something only made things worse. It happened suddenly, like it always did. One small thing turned into everything. I don't even remember what set him off. Maybe the food wasn't hot enough. Maybe I said something in the wrong tone. Maybe he had been carrying anger all day and just needed somewhere to put it. His voice rose, sharp and loud, cutting through the room. He told me I had ruined Christmas. He said I was useless, ungrateful, dramatic. Each word hit harder than the last. I stood there, frozen, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The Christmas lights blinked behind him, cheerful and cruel at the same time. He kept yelling, his face red, his words spilling out faster and faster. I remember thinking how strange it was that the world outside was so quiet. Snow falling, neighbors laughing. Somewhere, a car radio played a Christmas song. Inside our house, everything was breaking. I didn't yell back. I never did. I just stood there, staring at him, feeling something shift inside me. Not anger, not fear, something calmer, colder. It was the moment I realized I was done. Not in a dramatic way, not with tears or screaming, just done. I listened as he finished, as he stormed off to the bedroom and slammed the door. The house shook for a second, then went still. I cleaned the dishes slowly, methodically. My hands moved on autopilot while my mind raced. I had spent so long waiting for things to get better, making excuses, believing apologies that never lasted. Standing there in the quiet kitchen, surrounded by half-eaten food and blinking lights, I understood something clearly for the first time. Nothing was going to change unless I changed it.
I went to the living room and sat on the couch. The tree stood there, beautiful and indifferent. Presents sat underneath it, wrapped and untouched. I stared at them and felt a strange sense of clarity. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even sad. I felt resolved. He had no idea what was waiting for him afterward, because he still thought he was in control. He thought his yelling was the end of the story. It wasn't. It was the beginning of mine.
I stayed up most of the night. I didn't cry, I didn't sleep, I planned. I thought about every moment that had led me here, every warning sign I had ignored, every time I had told myself it wasn't that bad. I thought about the future I didn't want, the one where every holiday felt like walking on broken glass. I also thought about the future I did want, even though it scared me, especially because it scared me. When morning came, the house was quiet again. He slept in the bedroom, unaware. I moved through the house softly, like a guest. I packed a bag with essentials, clothes, documents, things that mattered. I left behind the things that didn't, the decorations, the dishes, the version of myself that thought enduring was the same as loving. Before I left, I sat at the table and wrote a letter. Not a dramatic one, not an angry one, just the truth. I wrote that I was leaving. I wrote that I deserved peace. I wrote that his yelling, his cruelty, his refusal to change had consequences. I didn't threaten him. I didn't beg. I simply explained. Then I folded the paper and placed it where he would see it when he woke up. Walking out of the house felt unreal. The cold air hit my face, sharp and refreshing. Snow crunched under my boots. The sky was pale, the world quiet. For the first time in years, I felt light. Not happy, not yet, but free. I drove away without looking back. What he didn't know was that this wasn't impulsive. I had already spoken to a lawyer weeks before. Quietly, carefully, I had opened a separate account. I had documented everything. I had prepared myself for this moment long before Christmas night. His yelling didn't break me. It confirmed what I already knew. When he woke up and found the house empty, the letter waiting, the reality finally settling in, I imagine it felt like the ground shifting beneath him. He called me dozens of times, left messages that ranged from angry to apologetic to desperate. I didn't answer. I was already somewhere else, both physically and emotionally. In the days that followed, the story spread. Friends, family, mutual acquaintances all heard different versions. Some people were shocked. Some said they always suspected something was wrong. Some didn't understand why I left on Christmas. I didn't bother explaining to everyone. The people who mattered understood. The rest didn't need to. What mattered was what happened inside me. Every morning I woke up in a quiet space. No yelling, no tension. Just silence and the sound of my own breathing. It felt strange at first, almost uncomfortable. I realized how used to chaos I had been. Peace felt unfamiliar, but I welcomed it. He tried to make promises. He said he would change. He said he was sorry. He said he didn't mean it. I had heard all of that before. This time it sounded different to me, not because his words changed, but because I had. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I simply didn't go back.
The aftermath wasn't easy. Starting over never is. There were moments of doubt, moments of loneliness, moments when I questioned everything. But there were also moments of strength I didn't know I had. Small victories, quiet joys, the realization that I could exist without being afraid of someone else's mood.
Looking back now, that Christmas night feels like a turning point. At the time, it felt like the worst moment of my life. In reality, it was the moment I stopped accepting less than I deserved. He thought yelling would put me back in my place. He thought I would stay, like I always had. He had no idea that while he was shouting, I was already leaving. The snow eventually melted. The holiday decorations came down. Life moved on. But something fundamental had changed. I had chosen myself. And once you do that, everything else shifts. Now, when Christmas comes around, it means something different to me. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about honesty, about peace, about knowing that I survived something that once felt impossible. I light my own lights now. I create my own warmth. And every year, when I see snow falling quietly outside a window, I remember that night, not with pain, but with gratitude. Because that was the night he yelled at me, and the night he lost the power he thought he had. Thank you for listening to Betty's Magical Stories, where every ending is a new beginning. If this story touched you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Until next time, keep believing in the magic hidden inside real life.